Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 139 of the Sun and Moon anime titled He's Born, the Alola League winner just dropped, and this is it, the final match of the Alola League. Who won, our boy Ash or the boy Gladion? Let's not waste any more time and find out. The episode begins with a recap of the battle so far between Ash and Gladion from the last episode before we continue the battle between Zoroark and Pikachu. They go at each other for a bit with Iron Tail and Shadow Claw before Zoroark hits Pikachu with the Shadow Claw, sending him in the air. Gladion then follows this up by using Never Ending Nightmare, and Ash actually uses Quick Attack to dodge most of the attack before countering inside the Never Ending Nightmare with his own Z move, the Normalium Z, which we haven't seen in forever, and inside, both Pokemon hit each other with their Z moves, causing a double KO between them. This means that the final Pokemon for both Ash and Gladion are their Lycanrocs, and we get a little flashback to their history before the battle begins. The battle for this one is really one-sided for the most part. Ash gets his Lycanroc close to Gladion, and Gladion just counters with Counter. And this happens a couple times. Ash gets a round counter, uses Accelerock, but again, Gladion finds another way to counter. Eventually, after getting countered over and over again, Ash has Lycanroc make one more push to get close up to Gladion's Lycanroc with Accelerock, only to be countered one more time, but this time, he uses that counter to counter Gladion's counter. And since Gladion had used Sword Stance, it does 4 times damage against Gladion's Lycanroc, KOing it, which means the winner and the first ever champion of Alola, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is Ash! The episode ends after Ash gets his trophy in the stadium before Guzzlord arrives. Oh man, I was so hyped when watching the episode and I saw that Ash won. Even though I saw the leak from a couple days ago that said that Ash is gonna win, which, by the way, Japan, come on, stop doing that. But besides that, let's go through the episode from the beginning to give you a sense of what I thought. So the animation is the first thing you'll notice that's immediate. And the style of animation, especially for the Pikachu vs Zoroark match, was very frenetic and fast paced. And the quality is really high, starting off with the Iron Tail and Shadow Claw clash before we get the Never Ending Nightmare, which also looked awesome. Both of these are really fast Pokemon, so the animation really highlighted that, and I really did appreciate that. Not only that, but I'm so glad that Ash brought back the Normalium Z. It's a great callback since the Normalium Z was the first Z move that Ash actually received, not counting the ones he got from Tapu Koko early on in the show, of course. And him using that as his final Z move in the league, as that was his first Z move, feels very fitting somehow. I don't mind the double KO between Pikachu and Zoroark either. This is, to my knowledge, the first double KO, right? Let me know if I'm wrong, in the Alola League at least. So it didn't feel overused, and I'm glad for it. For all the strengths of the Kalos League, I felt like they used the double KO way too many times in a very short period of time, where it felt like the writers just didn't want to pick who's a stronger Pokemon and decided to KO both Pokemon. And while the reason is probably similar here, this feels a lot less like that since it's only happened once and it happened in the finals. I also want to shout out the music choices in the episode. A lot of moments, they let silence do the talking, at least between Lycanroc versus Lycanroc. And like I've said in the past, not everything has to have music. Not only that, but the music they did use when there was music was really solid. Before the Lycanroc versus Lycanroc match, both Ash and Gladion just start laughing like crazy. And while I understand what the point of that was, in the middle of the league, that just felt so ridiculously awkward. 2 people just starting to bust out laughing when nothing has happened in the field is like, huh? These people have lost it. They've lost their mind. However, I did like the history flashback between Ash's Rockruff that eventually turned into his Dusk form Lycanroc and Gladion's Midnight form Lycanroc that always somehow beat Ash. The battle itself started off great, but one thing that kept happening is that Ash's Lycanroc would constantly get outsped by Midnight form, and in certain points, it felt too much. Like for example, after Ash hits his first Accelerock, Gladion has Midnight use Stone Edge, which Ash dodges with another Accelerock. Then, Gladion has the time to use another Stone Edge, followed by countered, before Ash's Lycanroc can get anywhere close to it. 2 things here. First of all, isn't Accelerock supposed to be a priority attack? it should hit first, especially against moves like Stone Edge. Why is Ash's Lycanroc getting constantly outsped using a priority move and hitting his move second? That makes no sense to me. And second of all, how many moves can Gladion use with zero transition time between each other? Seriously, the amount of times you use Stone Edge immediately followed by counter or immediately followed by another Stone Edge was kind of crazy. And Ash's Accelerock, like I said, is a priority move. He's doing multiple moves before Ash hits one attack. Don't get me wrong, that really works in building up the tension, but what happens is that at some point that starts to get ridiculous, and unfortunately for this battle, I think around the end it started to feel like that. While Ash did win, I can see a lot of people calling foul because his Lycanroc was just shown to get constantly countered over and over again. You need to be careful how many times you do something like that, especially if you're going to have Ash win. And in this battle, it just felt like way too much. I haven't gone on social media to check yet, but I bet you more than anything, the people who already don't like the Sun and Moon anime are using this battle as ammunition as to why they don't like Sun and Moon. He wins when he counters a counter with his own counter and KOs Gladion's Lycanroc in one hit. And like I said above, to me, that makes sense. Remember, Gladion's Lycanroc could use Swords Dance, so when he countered, it hit extremely hard. Swords Dance is ×2, and then counter is another ×2, so that's ×4. So, again, I'm fine with that. I don't really mind. Is that unrealistic? Sure. But so is the fact that Accelerock was slower than Stone Edge. I'd call it even. The aftermath and the way Ash reacted to himself winning, and Gladion calling him champion, that was a great moment. And to me, that was awesome. And now, if you're an Ash fan like me, and someone says, oh, Ash was a bad trainer, you can say, don't talk about champion Ash like that. And after he got his trophy, I actually thought that Team Rocket would have interrupted and then get sent packing with Beware before we see Guzzlord as sort of a fake out. But I'm really glad they didn't do that because I think that would have been way too predictable. As an episode ending, similar to the Kalos League, I thought it was awesome. Overall, I don't know how controversial this episode will be. I definitely felt like it was going to be controversial even just watching it for the first time, and I haven't even looked at people's responses yet. At times, it felt like way too much in terms of how much damage Ash's Lycanroc was taking before getting back up, but I thought that overall, the match itself kept you in suspense, and since Ash was the underdog here, that type of booking makes sense and does a good job of making you think that he won't win before eventually giving you the payoff. When he does win, we're shocked, just like Ash, if Japan hadn't, And I'm glad that we don't get the cliched both Pokemon hit each other and stand off before one falls over finale that seems to be so common. Instead, what we got was a clean win for Ash's Lycanroc, and it showed clearly that it was the better Pokemon. There was no doubt about it, because after the match, it was still standing while Gladion's Lycanroc was down. Overall, and to me, that was the right choice. The next episode, we are going to see this Guzzlord cause havoc and everyone try to hit it with their Z moves. And at the end of the preview, there isn't just one Guzzlord, but there's also a second one that's shiny. So I'm interested as to what's going to happen next episode. We also get to see that the Masked Royal also has a Lucario. So he might actually have a similar team to what he has in the games. Who knows? But anyways, that's it for my Pokemon Sun and Moon episode 139 review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this league below. Let me know what you thought. I'm really curious. You can also follow me on Twitter @TheRealPDGaming, and that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.